This Elizabethan farmhouse was the birthplace of one of England's most famous explorers. He's most renowned for bringing us tobacco and the humble potato from the New World. So you probably don't have to dig too deep to work out who he was, but do you know which county he was born in? Find out in just a moment. Today we're finding a home for a couple and their holiday house guests. We get off to a good start.
Oh, what a welcome. Isn't that lovely?
But it could be tricky choosing who takes priority.
Fabulous. That was too nice for your guests, this one.
Well, this is the problem with this house. Today we're in Devon and this is Hayes Barton, and it was here in 1552 that saw the birth of Sir Walter Raleigh, or Raleigh, or Raleigh, depending on how you pronounce his name. And it's extraordinary, this building is pretty much as it was in Raleigh's time, still being used as a private dwelling in the middle of a farm. And you can see it also has this distinctive Devon porch in the centre, which forms the letter E, in honour of the monarch of the time, Queen Elizabeth. And although Raleigh spent most of his time in the monarch's court in London, he never lost his love for this county, or indeed his thick Devonian accent. Indeed, it's said that Elizabeth throughout his life teased him by calling him Dear Walter. The only county in the UK with two separate coastlines, Devon is bordered by Cornwall in the west and Somerset and Dorset in the east. The north coast is home to some of the finest beaches in the country. Its wild Atlantic Ocean is a surfer's paradise. The south coast, overlooking the English Channel, is more serene. The calmer waters make it an ideal spot for sailing. The naturally sheltered bays here are home to pretty fishing villages such as Salcombe and Dartmouth, both popular tourist destinations. Inland, Devon has a lot going for it too. One of its two national parks is Dartmoor, with its rugged terrain and vast open landscape. Its famous tors were formed 280 million years ago. The east of the county is more pastoral and peaceful, and much of the land is protected. Dramatic sea cliffs in the eastern region are part of the world-famous Jurassic Coast. Across Devon as a whole, the average price for a detached house is £286,000, which is £30,000 above the national average. Although you do have to bear in mind that that's slightly distorted by the presence of very popular sailing resorts like Salcombe and Dartmouth, where houses routinely sell for double the national figure. Further inland, you get more for your money, particularly in the beautiful Blackdown Hills, although around Honiton, in the east of the county, prices are still holding strong, largely due to the presence of great transport links to London. It's just 2 hours from Exeter, and also good schools and very lovely country housing stock. So with that in mind, let's see what our buyers today are looking for. Having lived in Orpington, southeast London, for 2 decades, it's not surprising to learn what's driving today's buyers, Deborah and Clive, into the countryside.
The big roads. We live on a main road, it's very noisy, so we'd really like to go and have a nice, peaceful existence.
And we're just looking to get away from the M25 and move down to a very beautiful rural part of the countryside.
But that's not all that's prompting the move. Deborah has plans for a new holiday let business.
Well, I've always wanted to do a B&B for quite about the last 5 years, really. And originally we thought we might go up to Scotland and do it, but we've decided now that we won't do that. It's a bit cold up there. So we've decided that we would do it down in Devon.
While Clive will continue to work for a brewery company in London during the week, for Deborah it's a chance to continue a family tradition in the county.
My parents had a hotel in, first of all, they had one in Paynton, and then they did that for many, many years, and then they bought one down in Budleigh Salterton on the seafront. So I have a little inkling of what happens.
Although their grown-up children have left the nest, they'll still need somewhere for their pets.
Well, we have 2 dogs, golden retrievers, Bex and Shapley. Bex is the mother, and she had 8 puppies, and we kept one of them, Shapley. And I do hope in about 2 years' time, when we move, we need to have some sort of outbuilding so that I can breed Shapley, because I'd very much like to have another litter of puppies.
But they're not the only ones coming with them.
We had chickens for a number of years. We would certainly take the chickens with us and maybe breed some more. We bred some of those chickens anyway.
Alongside the running of their new B&B, the couple hope to continue with their hobbies.
Well, in our spare time, we mainly do drama. We both of us belong to the local drama group. We do plays 4 times a year. When we move to Devon, we're definitely going to find ourselves a drama group. And in fact, we've already been looking to see what's about down there.
And Devon will also offer them the chance to try something new.
One of the new hobbies that we'd like to take up is sailing. And so we would like to have a property that's not too far from the sea, within maybe half hour or 40 minutes of a reasonable harbour that we can have a small sailing boat in. It's an opportunity to meet new people down in Devon.
With an offer already made on their current home, Deborah and Clive have a good idea of what they've got to play with.
We're looking for a house probably at around £800,000 to £850,000.
Clive and Deborah have asked us to concentrate our property search in the east of the county, around the market town of Honiton. I've come to the hills just south of Honiton to meet our buyers.
Now, why Devon? Because is your mum round here?
My mother lives in Budleigh Salterton, so I'm really coming home because this is where I was brought up, down in Devon.
In terms of the house, though, I'm quite interested in this move of yours to sort of do B&B and do holiday lets.
Change of career for me.
And have you really thought through how it will be, having strangers in your house every other week?
Yeah, we've really thought about it, yes, and I'm really quite... I like people, you know, I like to communicate with people and chat with people, and I'm really quite happy to do that. I mean, the sort of property we're looking for, we don't want them literally on top of us. We're rather hoping that we'll be able to find something that's got a sort of the area slightly separate, maybe.
And what sort of a property do you want, and what's the spec of the house?
We're looking for 2, maybe 3 ensuite B&B rooms that we can let out, obviously, for B&B.
Or potential to make.
Or potential to make them into ensuite, and we need a couple of rooms for ourselves.
So sort of 5 minimum, 5 big
Yeah.
Yes,
workable
5.
rooms.
Really 5
6
minimum.
would be nice, but 5 certainly, yes.
Yes.
And then some degree of outbuildings where we could develop that into some form of self-catering let.
So do you see it that way round, that you do the B&B first and then the holiday let?
I think
Well,
we would.
Yes, but not necessarily. I mean, if something is the other way round, then that's fine.
And are you sort of roll up your sleeves and let's knock down some walls sort of people, or...?
We have done in the past.
We've done that. We've significantly rebuilt our house over the last 20 years, and we would do the same thing if we had to, yes.
So you're willing to do a bit of work?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's a beautiful day for looking at properties, and we found 3 beautiful properties, I think, so I'm quite excited to show them to you. How does this area suit?
Oh, stunning. Absolutely stunning.
It's
beautiful.
It's just truly beautiful, yeah.
Yes,
The
this
rolling
is-
hills.
this is where we want to be,
Yes,
isn't it?
Yes, yes.
How about down there?
Yes, that's stunning too.
It is.
Yes. What,
How
that one
how
there?
about that property there?
Well, that looks gorgeous.
Off we go then. Follow me.
Oh, wow. Is that one of them?
Is that where we're going?
Oh, right. OK.
Clive and Deborah have a budget of £850,000 to spend in East Devon. They prefer an older property with 5 or 6 bedrooms, 3 of those for their bed and breakfast business. They'd also like some land attached, at least an acre, with some outbuildings for self-catering accommodation, either already converted or with the potential to be transformed into holiday lets. We've got 3 wonderful Devonian properties to show Deborah and Clive, and I'll be revealing the price of each at the end of the tour. Our mystery house, the final offering, should give our suburbanites something to put their stamp on. Our first house is in the countryside just a few miles south of Honiton itself, which is an attractive market town with a full range of shops and some impressive Georgian architecture. It's best known for a lace-making cottage industry dating back to the late 16th century. The town's expensive handmade fabric was much sought after and became a favourite of the royals. In fact, Queen Victoria ordered Honiton lace for her wedding dress. A 5-minute drive outside of the town and you're surrounded by rolling hills, which is the setting for our first house.
Here we are.
Wow.
House number 1.
Looks nice.
Well, it's
Very
wonderful.
pretty. It's very pretty.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very pretty. We hadn't actually considered barn conversions. That's something that hadn't... So this will be a first for us.
Yes, it will. Well, this is obviously originally a very old agricultural building, but it was completely revamped in 2003. And what they did is they converted the main barn into their living dwelling, and then they have this side building as a holiday let.
Right.
It looks very nice. It does look very nice indeed.
That's very nice.
Well, the nice thing about this property is, of course, that it's old, but inside is quite modern.
Well, that's good. That's much better. That's very good.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yes, me
Shall we
too.
peek inside?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Come with me.
Our barn conversion seems to have made a good first impression on our buyers. And there's the bonus of the ready-made holiday let for Deborah.
Come on in. I'm going to close the door behind you, Clive.
Thank you.
I'm going to head straight through to the kitchen.
That's the kitchen.
Come on in a bit.
Yes, that's a kitchen.
Lovely kitchen. Spacious,
Beautiful.
It's
bright
huge.
and airy. Very nice. Yes, if you did B&B, for instance, would your guests eat here? Is there another dining room?
Well, there is space back here. There's a sort of snug here.
Yes, maybe you could turn that into a dining room.
Which could also be the guest dining room.
Yes.
There are several options.
Yes, it's certainly a good-sized kitchen, without a doubt. It's something you wanted was a large
I do want a nice big
farmhouse-type kitchen. Yes.
Let's look at more of your living space.
The house is arranged in a C shape around a central courtyard, and one wing is reserved for the self-contained holiday let. The accommodation here includes a spacious kitchen diner, a gallery bedroom which sits in the eaves, and a twin bedroom below that, easily enough space for a family of 4. As we weave our way through the main house, we pass a utility room and downstairs toilet.
Come on into this spectacular room.
Wow.
Oh, this is certainly something, isn't it?
So this is the centrepiece of the house in many ways, I think. You've got this lovely dining area here, and then it goes much further down here. I mean, this is the... It's interesting because
gorgeous.
when they convert these buildings, getting skylights is quite a trick from the planning office.
Yes.
So they managed to get these 3.
They just throw so much natural light into the building.
Yeah. Yes. What do you think of the obviously the fireplace is quite dominant. Is it to your taste?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
The fireplace is good, yes.
Oh,
it's
I like
nice.
it.
Yes, you can certainly picture yourself sitting here around the fireplace.
Yes, I can do.
So, is it growing on you, is it?
I think it is, yes, it is.
Upstairs there are 4 bedrooms. 2 of those are decent-sized singles, although one is being used as a study, and there's also a family bathroom. But with Deborah's holiday guests in mind, I want to show them how they might configure the 2 double bedrooms to get the maximum income from the new business.
So this is up in the rafters. This is the master suite.
Master bedroom. Right.
So you have a walk-in wardrobe, a nice shower room, quite sumptuous.
Yes, there's plenty of it.
Yeah. Is this good in terms of your sleeping space?
Well, we have a very big bedroom at the moment, but we're not expecting to find a bedroom as big as ours. But actually, this is
good
okay.
size.
This
Yeah,
is
it's a
fine.
good size, yes, definitely.
It's definitely a good size.
But what I'd like to show you, if we go down here, I can explain this a bit more. And then there's this room,
Right.
which is a double room. And this has a little ensuite bathroom.
Decent size.
Works well, this.
Yep.
But what we were thinking is that this has a separate staircase that goes down to a quite big room at the bottom. So we were thinking that one possibility is to have this as another separate holiday let.
Oh, right.
possible,
yes.
yes.
So put in a little kitchen downstairs.
Yes. Yes.
Have a sort of dining room, have this as the sort of single room upstairs.
Yes.
So then you'll have a 1-bedroom holiday let and a 2-bedroom holiday let.
Yeah, and no B&Bs.
And no B&B.
Yes.
That's another option.
Let's go out into the garden and talk about how much it all costs.
Most important part of it.
The property comes with 2.5 acres of paddock, as well as a private garden which is mainly laid to lawn.
Is this sort of what you're looking for? How do you see the land lying?
I would prefer to have a bit more than this, really.
Yes, 2 acres is sort of our bottom end of
Yes,
size.
minimum.
What are you going to use this land for? You know, 4 acres is a lot of land.
I just want it there. I just want to be able to look at it. I just not necessarily use it for anything. I just want to know that we've got some land that we can wander around with the dogs and not necessarily use it for anything, really.
What do you think it's on the market for?
About 795,000.
Yes, I would say just below £800,000.
So this property is on the market for £750,000.
OK, that's a pleasant surprise, actually. So that actually is encouraging because we know we can afford a bit more than that, so that gives us a bit more to play with.
Why don't you go and actually look inside the holiday let just to get your bearings there, and I'll see you at the front.
OK.
Lovely. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
On the market for £750,000, our first house comes in well under budget. It's a barn conversion arranged around a courtyard. It comes with an up-and-running holiday let and the option to create a second self-contained unit. The accommodation in the main part of the house includes a spacious living room and 4 bedrooms. The outside space comprises a private garden and 2.5 acres of land.
When we first came into the house, we were pleasantly surprised. It is a large, bright, airy house that has been very sympathetically put together.
It was quite an eye-opener for me to come into a barn conversion. I'd never been in one before. A lovely house, superb location, but not really for me, mainly because of the close proximity of all the other houses around about.
So beautiful, this garden. Hello, guys. Good timing.
Hello.
So we're going to finish up here and move on to house number 2.
Perfect.
Follow me.
Devon's southern coastal towns are rooted in their seafaring heritage, one of which is Brixham. In the late 18th century, the fishermen of the town, keen to exploit limited fishing stocks, developed a new design of vessel, the deep-sea trawler. Only a few survive today, including this one, Golden Vanity. Since Clive and Deborah are keen to take up sailing here in Devon, we sent them to meet Toby Russell, director of Trinity Sailing, the charity responsible for conserving the original and rare Brixham-born vessels.
So for what purpose were the boats originally built?
They were built for trawling, deep-sea trawling at sea. And actually they were a revolutionary design at the time. And what that allowed people, well, fishermen to go out and do, was to trawl deeper in the water and for longer periods of time.
Have the boats always been based in Brixham?
They were originally built all around the localities. Some were built in Brixham and the Heritage Fleet, and some were built locally on the River Dart. But then they were all sort of dispersed over time, and Trinity came about really by bringing 3 of those boats together and bringing them back to Brixham, and that kick-started their Brixham Heritage Fleet that we now have.
So what do they like to sail?
Lovely, and you're going to get the chance to go on Golden Vanity today.
The impact of the Brixham trawler was immense. Trawling deeper and for longer resulted in larger catches. Its sleek design and tall gaff rigging gave it both power and speed, and it was copied all over the world. By the late 19th century, there were 3,000 trawlers operating in the UK waters alone. But as skipper Matt Gilchrist explains, there's a knack to sailing them.
It certainly looks a lot more complicated.
It looks more complicated. There's a lot more rope and blocks and stuff to master, but you know, within about a week of sailing on the boat, you can be quite comfortable on pulling on the various ropes.
So obviously we probably wouldn't have a gaff boat. So what sort of boat would you recommend for us to buy for a beginner? You know, we haven't sailed before.
I think really it depends on what boats you've sailed on before, but I mean ultimately I would go for either a metal hull or a fiberglass hull.
Yes.
That would mean then that you're not having lots of maintenance to do in the winter. I mean, as lovely as wooden hulls are, they do require quite a lot of tender loving care. And really with the rig, you don't really want to be going out there with a huge sail that you can easily overpower. So you want something which is going to be quite comfortable and safe. So you might actually have something which has got under-rigged boats, so the sails are much smaller.
Now that Deborah and Clive have learnt the ropes, it's time to get back to the house hunt to see what we've caught in our trawl through Devon's best properties. For our second property, we're heading 12 miles north to the village of Hemyock, which is part of the Blackdown Hills, an area of outstanding natural beauty. The nearby village of Culmstock offers a range of facilities including a church, shops and a deli, which operates out of the former post office. The village stretches out on both sides of the River Culm. and is connected by an old stone bridge. A few miles upstream from the village, in the Culm Valley, is our second offering.
Here we go.
That's pretty. Very pretty.
That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The whole setting is super, absolutely super.
It belongs to a miller who, when he got posh and rich, moved away from the mill, which was down further away because it was too noisy, built himself this Victorian grand house with the barn next to it, which was then extended. The barn's a bit older. And then you also have the granary cottage there,
Yes.
which is also yours. Obviously, you're on the banks of the River Culm.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Beautiful bit of land. All this land is yours, this whole riverside bank.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to going inside, I really am.
Yeah, I am too.
Well,
It's nice.
let's have a look inside.
Yes, please.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Yes.
The setting of our second house with its river frontage has impressed our buyers, and I'm pretty confident Clive and Deborah will like the inside. It's hard not to.
Here we are.
What a welcome. Isn't that lovely?
Very cosy,
Cosy?
beautifully appointed,
Yes.
very
and
nice.
View.
Super view, super
Absolutely
view.
lovely view.
It's a lovely room, isn't it? Absolutely lovely.
It's
Gorgeous,
cracking, yes.
gorgeous.
I don't really need to say much about it.
No, you
but
don't.
No.
This could be your room,
Yes.
or this could be a very nice sort of B&B lounge.
Right. Okay.
But there are options with this vast property. The downstairs accommodation also includes this dining room, a family snug room with an open fireplace, a small study and a garden room. And let's not forget the kitchen.
Very pretty.
Country kitchen.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Is that an original beam?
Yes, this was the oldest part of the house. This would have been the sort of old, sort of like dairy to the farmhouse. If you're thinking about how you're going to sort of entertain your B&B guests, that's
Yes.
sort of where you'd be.
Well, you'd feed them, I suppose, in the dining room, wouldn't you? And we would have in here.
We would want to have a lounge area for us that was separate, definitely.
Which this would be.
Which that certainly would be.
That certainly
That
would be.
sort of makes sense, but then you lose that lovely
Yes.
sitting room.
Well, we'd have to.
Yeah. We'll look at the bedrooms first and make our mind up after that, see if they're suitable.
Let's do it.
The house comes with 6 bedrooms. 5 of them are on the first floor. They're all a good size, and there are 3 bathrooms, plenty of space and facilities for Deborah and Clive's guests. We're bypassing the current master so I can show them my favourite bedroom.
Oh, what a lovely room.
It's a lovely room, isn't it?
What
Beautiful.
a lovely room. The
Yeah.
ceiling and
Fantastic, isn't it?
fabulous. That's too nice for your guests, this one.
Well, this is the problem with this house. There's lots of rooms where you think,
Much too
a bit
nice.
too nice to give to a B&B guest.
Yes.
And this one's got a balcony. by the looks of
Yes. With all the views.
Well, if that wasn't enough choice, there's some more.
Oh.
Deborah and Clive would prefer to live separately from their B&B guests, and I have something in mind which will offer them that privacy up on the next floor.
I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect this.
Well, no, nor did I.
Well, this is fab, isn't it?
It's stunning, isn't it?
This is another beautiful room.
So light.
So there's a very good possibility that you could make this your master suite.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to do that.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. I hadn't thought about that.
There are so many options in this building, but this is one possibility that this floor is then your private floor, and the floor below are all B&Bs.
I think that's a good idea. A very good idea.
As well as the multitude of possibilities for putting up guests in the main house, the adjacent 18th century granary cottage is already a fully functional holiday let with 2 bedrooms. Then there's the outside space. The sprawling riverside grounds include a covered dining area, a stables block, and an impressive veggie patch. In all, the land amounts to just over 2 acres.
So look, you have this amazing little sort of bluebell wood,
Yeah, lovely.
and you can see you've got some very elaborate raised beds there for if you want to do some vegetables.
Well, I think we can convert some of it perhaps into our chicken run, which would be nice.
But very beautiful gardens. I mean, is this what you're looking for?
As near as, yes.
It's-
I think
it's-
it's pretty...
it's pretty close,
Pretty
I've
close.
got to say,
pretty
yes.
close.
How much do you think it costs?
Oh dear.
I would say in the 800s. I reckon about 835.
Clive?
Yes, as much as I like the property, I think it's on the market for a little bit lower. I think around 800,000.
Well, this property is on the market for 795.
795.
Less than I thought. A lot less than I thought.
795. Well, that's yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
It's encouraging, isn't it?
So maybe you go back in there and have a look in there, and I'll see you out one of the many front doors.
All right. Thank you. We will do that. Thanks, Alistair.
Okay, lovely.
Thank you. Bye.
This is a no-brainer. Sure, this is absolutely beautiful. Everything about it is gorgeous and in budget. What's the problem? Buy it.
On the market for £795,000, our second property is under Clive and Deborah's budget. The accommodation includes a spacious living room and kitchen, and there are additional reception rooms. It comes with 6 bedrooms, one of which is a large attic room. The price includes a self-contained holiday let in the adjoining granary cottage, and the property is set on the banks of a river with over 2 acres of land.
A lovely house, beautiful house, stunning location, very, very attractive. Regarding the B&B, there's loads and loads of different opportunities. There's 4 different rooms that we could change around. My only one worry is our 2 dogs who are very fond of the water, and would we ever be able to keep them out of the river?
It's in an absolute idyllic setting with the river running down by the side. The upstairs bedrooms, well, a couple are absolutely superb. The one at the top is amazing. It's a super property.
Great. Well, if you just pull the door behind, we are done for the day.
Absolutely super. Thank you.
It's a good end, wasn't it?
We've had a great day. Really enjoyed ourselves.
Time for a rest.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's the final day of our property search, and on a budget of £850,000, we're helping Deborah and Clive swap the sounds of suburbia for the delights of Devon. Coming up, the mystery house gives our buyers a new perspective.
Splendid views. Absolutely stunning. You can see for miles, can't you?
And I find that just talking about cheese isn't enough.
Well, I'll have to eat some now. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. Now, I have to confess I loved that house by the river yesterday, but I'm not sure in my waters that it's the one that Debbie and Clive will choose. Partly, I think, because it's too perfectly the present owner's house, and it would feel like they were stepping into somebody else's shoes. So for the mystery house, we're going a little bit further afield into Somerset and giving them another very beautiful property, big, lots of land, but maybe with the potential for them to put their mark on it. So we are off to see the mystery house. What do you hope or fear that evolves?
I'm expecting to see something perhaps that you might think is going to be a bit of a project, because the last 2 houses you've shown us have been basically ready to go.
Clive, are you in accord with that?
Yes, that would be an exciting project to undertake, to actually convert something into well, a bed and breakfast or a self-catering let. Yeah, we would certainly be up for that.
As long as it's not too much work, though. I don't want to be starting from a complete ruin, you know.
For our mystery house, we're hopping over the border into Somerset to the hamlet of Selix Green. It's in the heart of the Blackdown Hills, and the closest village to our third property is Blagdon Hill, which has a range of amenities including shops, playing fields, and a pub that also serves as a community post office. A mile down the road in the hamlet of Selix Green is our final house. Although we've left Devon, I'm really hoping that this property will give Clive and Deborah something to think about.
This is the mystery house.
Right.
It's not what you were thinking in the car.
No, it isn't. It looks like it's in good condition and it's been very well restored.
And it's difficult to, it's difficult to tell how old it is.
It
could
is,
be,
yes.
It almost looks new, but one assumes it's not.
It's not new. It's from about the early 20th century, 1900s. It was a dairy farm.
Okay.
So the mystery is that we're slightly over into Somerset.
Yes.
And it's a sort of kind of interesting proposition because you could make it work as a B&B straight away.
Right.
But there's potential here
Okay.
for you to
Intriguing.
do something new.
Okay.
Should we have a look inside?
Yes, please. Very keen.
A former dairy farm, our mystery house was completely renovated around 10 years ago. It gives Deborah B&B options, but it is smaller than our previous properties and there's no holiday let, at the moment at least.
Come through into the kitchen.
Wow, what a lovely kitchen.
Well, it's
Beautiful kitchen.
Yes.
Look at that, isn't that so unusual, the rounded part?
Do you know what that is?
No, tell me.
That's a well.
Oh, really?
Yes, if you look down, you can see right into the
Oh,
well.
to do that.
Oh, right, I'll have to look at that.
Wonderful. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's not at all what you expect, is it, from the outside?
No, not at all what you expect from the outside. I mean, you just come straight in here. There's nothing to do, is there? It's all beautifully done.
It's not listed, and it has the potential for a lot of extensions, because there's planning for extension that covers this whole area here, right across to the arch out there. 2-storey extension. Well, you might not want to do that, but the point is that the planning officers are clearly OK with putting something new on.
This house has fewer reception rooms than yesterday's second property, but potential is the word I want our buyers to remember here, the extension being just one possibility.
And this is the lovely sitting room.
Yes, it's a nice room, isn't it? Nice, spacious room.
Yeah.
It's a much simpler layout than yesterday, which was obviously really quite complicated with all the different sort of rooms. And this is like a big sort of sitting room. And then there is a little sort of dining room through those double root doors, which could be also something else, a study or something.
I like the windows. The windows are lovely.
Lovely
Sash windows. I mean, they're a real feature of the house, aren't they?
Although they're being very polite, I sense our mystery proposition isn't hitting the mark yet. I'm hoping the bedrooms upstairs will win them over. They're arranged over 2 floors. The first floor has 4 good-sized bedrooms. One of those is en suite, but there's also a family bathroom. The whole of this floor could be given over to bed and breakfast accommodation, leaving the top floor bedroom for Clive and Deborah.
So this is a great room.
Lovely room.
It is.
Really
it's
bright.
marvellous. Absolutely lovely. Really
airy.
light.
It's a stunner, isn't it? Because you have your
Yes.
bed, well, I can tell you bed either end, I suppose, but bed here in the
Yes.
bathroom, you've got a walk-in wardrobe that side.
Yes,
And this
lovely.
is a sort of little sitting, relaxing area.
Yes. And beautifully done. And a balcony. Your gin and tonics in the evening.
Let's step out on the balcony, you can see the land. Come out here.
Splendid views. Absolutely stunning.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Absolutely.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Lovely.
You can see for miles, can't you?
Well, what's really nice is that actually most of this is yours.
Oh, OK. Oh,
So
wow.
we're sitting in about 5 acres of land.
5 acres.
5 acres.
So it's this hedge all the way along the hedge down to the cottage in the corner,
Yes.
all along the lane. All of the garden, obviously, is yours. Let's go outside and I can point out what you might be able to do in terms of B&B and we can talk about the price.
OK.
Our former dairy farm gives our buyers more land than yesterday's offerings and the option of milking the holiday let business for all it's worth, possibly even building on the field, subject to planning permission. To tempt them into it, there's even a ready-made chicken pen.
Chickens!
Now, clearly your house is in the corner of the plot,
Yeah.
but it is a big 5-acre plot, but also this rather charming kind of outhouse
Yes.
with corrugated iron,
Yes.
almost like beach house chic.
Which you could turn into a holiday let.
Yeah, absolutely. So how much do you think it's on the market for?
Well, I think you want me to guess first this time, don't you?
I do.
And I'm actually going to go on the low side, and I'm going to guess 725,000.
Okay.
I think a bit more than that because of the amount of land and the fact that there's planning permission. So I think 775.
Oh, in this instance, you're very close. It's on the market at 770.
Oh, well, there we are then.
So,
Yes, I would think that because of the amount of land that it's got and the planning permission, it's always more
Yeah.
when you've got planning permission
Yes.
involved.
so why don't you go inside and explore a bit more those rooms on the second floor,
OK,
and I'll see you at the front.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
At offers around £770,000, our mystery house is £80,000 under Clive and Deborah's maximum budget, leaving them room to expand the property. It's a former dairy farm which has been redesigned by its current owners. The accommodation includes a spacious contemporary kitchen and sitting room. There are 5 good-sized bedrooms, including a large master attic room. And there's planning permission in place to build a 2-storey extension, and there are outbuildings to convert on the 5 acres of land that comes with this property.
It's been finished to a very high standard. the kitchen in particular. The views are fantastic. I don't think the property would work for us at all. I think bed and breakfast would be difficult, to say the least.
Although there are options and potential to do a B&B and possibly a holiday let, what would I live on to start with? It would take quite a long time to do that, and I would need some sort of income while we're doing it. So I don't really think that's an option, to be honest.
So, all done. You guys head to the car. I'll catch you up in a second. Of course, Debbie and Clive are looking at a specific price range here in East Devon, but there are lots of properties for every pocket, so take a look.
If you're interested in a home with history, this Victorian coach house has been converted into a complex of 6 properties. Located in the village of Up Ottery, the double-storey 2-bedroom units are on the market for offers around £225,000. Another historic property is this Grade 2 listed thatched cottage in the village of Rawridge, on the market for just shy of £480,000. Dating back to the 16th century, it features a main lounge with large windows overlooking the garden and a sitting room, as well as 3 bedrooms. Finishing off our history lesson is this 5-bedroom Grade 1 listed former chantry in the village of Raleigh, priced at £699,000. Built in the 1500s, stepping inside is like stepping back in time, and the accommodation includes a magnificent sitting room with a beamed ceiling and a master bedroom that was probably the former chapel. Devon and the other counties that make up the West Country form the true historic home of cheddar, the UK's most popular variety of cheese. Cheddar making originated in the region in the 12th century. Today it's largely produced in bulk, but there are still a few artisan cheesemakers left in the West Country who are producing it by hand. I'm meeting the only female cheesemaker of these traditional cheddars, Mary Quick, whose family have been farming here in Devon for over 400 years.
I can just hear the sound of munching, munch, munch, munch. And you do something fairly unusual with your cows.
What we have these crossbred cows, hybrid cows, different breeds that are very hardy and fertile, and they really, really like grazing.
So they're girls who like to graze?
Girls who like to graze. They produce a milk that has given us a beautiful buttery note to the cheese.
They're milked how many times?
Twice a day.
The milk is then sent over to the dairy. The unique part of the traditional cheese-making process is known as cheddaring. The slabs of curd are cut, stacked, and turned by hand to help drain the whey. Mary's most famous cheddar is her mature variety, which is stored for up to 12 months before it's ready. Naturally, I'm rather keen to try some.
So should we just go on the look first and then we'll do the taste later? So these are getting older, are they?
Yes, this is mature, and then this is vintage. The older the cheese, the greater not necessarily the strength of flavour, but the depth and intensity.
And this final one?
And this is our smoked cheese.
Oh, I have to eat some now. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy.
OK, let's start.
This is the what did you call it? Buttery?
Buttery. I just need... and
AKA mild.
Do you want to see what the cheesemakers do?
Of course, yes. Teach me all the tricks.
We squidge.
Really?
So particularly when cheese is young. But it also warms it up. So it brings the flavour. It's like it matures it a little.
Oh, so that's good. So if you're serving cheese, you should always let it breathe and warm up to room temperature.
Yeah, because
like
otherwise...
wine.
Yeah, well, like wine. That's right. And then I smell. Now you can taste.
Thanks. It's not like a normal cheese. It's really yes, creamy. It's going right to the back of my palate. But it tastes kind of sort of almost sweet.
Slightly fruity.
It's definitely fruity, because some of those really acidy ones don't really agree with me.
I'm looking for these flavours that really go right through your palate, and you have this length. Whereas if you've got acidity, you just get this spike at the front and then it's gone.
Let's try this, the oak smoked one. It's a very different consistency. Oh. That's quite zingy. Feels quite...
Mary organises regular cheese and wine tasting events at her farm, but cheddar doesn't have to be paired just with wine. The main thing is that tasting cheese should be enjoyable.
One of the most interesting pairings I had was with our mature cheddar and a Darjeeling tea.
Ah. My grandmother used to have very strong cheddar and fruitcake.
Oh, lovely.
That was a great pairing too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can have such fun with it.
Mary, you're an amazing ambassador for all things cheesy, and I say that in the nicest way. Thank you so much. Time to find out what Clive and Debbie are thinking. I'm pretty sure I know that they like the second house best, but I'm not entirely convinced whether they'll proceed on it. Let's find out. Well, we got to the end of a lovely week here in East Devon.
It's been really, I really have enjoyed it.
Yes, it's been a really fun few days. It's been magnificent.
Well, I suppose the burning question is, has it furthered your house search?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Yes, it has. We have seen one house in particular out of the three that we really do like.
Yes.
Well, I can guess it's house number 2.
Yes.
Yes.
And we like it enough to, go further and perhaps phone them up and go and have another viewing. Hopefully that if we like it the second time that we go back, hopefully we will like it enough, perhaps even to put an offer in, and who knows?
Well, that's good. Because I knew that you liked it, but I had this sneaking feeling that somehow that wouldn't quite click for you.
Well, I don't think we're ever going to find a property that is literally 100% of absolutely everything we want.
Well, I think that's pretty close, that one, isn't it?
It's pretty much as close as we're going to get, I guess.
And is there something that you've been sort of like daydreaming about, thinking, ooh, it would be really nice to wake up in that room, or to sit in this room, or to look down?
Well, we've been talking about which room we would have as our bedroom. There's the one at the very top of the property, which was, well, it was fantastic, wasn't it, with the views either side. It was a lovely, huge, big, light, airy room. And of course then the other one, the other side with the balcony overlooking
So
the
many
view.
choices.
Well, it's been lovely showing you around, and it's nice that you have this vision ahead of you, and I really do hope that you take it forward with house number 2.
No, thank you for a wonderful few days. It's
enjoyed it.
been magnificent, been very nice. We've thoroughly enjoyed ourselves.
It's been a pleasure. I was pretty chuffed with the properties we found this week in East Devon, because it's not easy finding successful and beautiful holiday lets and B&Bs, because, well, the successful and beautiful ones tend to be just that, making money for their owners and not for sale. And the ones that are not so nice probably wouldn't fit the bill for Clive and Debbie. So I was quite excited when I heard Clive say, and I quote, that house number 2 was almost perfect. I think we did a good job. So join us next time for more Escape to the Country.
Our buyers loved the second property we showed them and went back for another viewing, but in the end they decided against its riverside location. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales, or even further afield to the continent and need our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.